Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's currently 12:58 and I gotta go to the Ivan Cornejo concert in a couple of hours, so I figured I'd stop in and drop a little quick part 2 for you guys, since it's only gonna be a 20-minute video and it shouldn't really take me too much time. So let's get started. We immediately kick this arc off with Team 7 making their way to the Land of the Waves. On their way there, just like normally, the Demon Brothers would end up attacking the team, and in the midst of this attack, instead of Naruto hesitating even for a split second, Naruto, who had been around Tsunade, who has definitely seen his fair share of her knocking some dudes around who were trying to get a little too pervy with her, would definitely know a thing or two about having some specific type of men come up to them and try to start some stuff. So Naruto, having experienced moments in which he had already faltered before, in the face of a shinobi who he thinks is so powerful, only to watch Tsunade absolutely clobber them and also have him even spar with her, Naruto would not be scared of this at all, rushing in, charging to the direction of one of the brothers, knowing that Sasuke has his back. Naruto rushing in behind Sasuke, the both of them would be seen moving in tandem, as suddenly, from behind Sasuke, both of them would split off, leading to a really cool panel in which Naruto and Sasuke both land simultaneous attacks on each individual demon brothers, leading to both of them being instantly knocked out by the two Genin, greatly impressing their sensei Kakashi, who, seeing the two boys in action, would be stunned, noting that the two of them already possessed the abilities to take down two Chunin level ninjas. This would leave Kakashi to start wondering whether they would actually be ready to take the Chunin exams, but nonetheless, the team would continue on forward with their mission and making their way towards the direction of the Land of Waves. This is when we would finally get the Zabuza encounter, where I can see things start to shift very quickly, because remember, Naruto and Sasuke in this timeline both possessed equally great amount of ninja skills, so when they would see their sensei get captured within the water prison, and we would get the very emotional scene in which Kakashi tells the group to run away, which, speaking of, what would have happened if the team had actually abandoned Kakashi? Have I never done that? But anyways, point being, after this would end up taking place, Naruto and Sasuke, both seeing that they need to free their sensei somehow, would each individually decide to just take on the Zabuza clones. So Naruto, creating a couple clones of his own, would rush to the direction of Zabuza's clones, as he would leap into the air and his clones would jump up knowing what's to come. Naruto would slam his fist on it as a massive hole would be left behind and the floor itself would start shaking. This would actually cause a bit of waves to start going crazy in the lake that Zabuza had currently found himself in, as Zabuza, seeing the monstrous strength behind the kid, would think, "What?" Kakashi, seeing that, would think that that's just like Tsunade, and as Naruto would throw that punch, Sasuke would leap up into the air, weaving the hand signs for a great fireball jutsu, as a massive amount of fire would rush at Zabuza, who, seeing this happen, would be absolutely stunned. Sasuke would be about 20 feet in the air at the moment, considering that he would have used the momentum of one of Naruto's clones to leap up into the air, all the while Naruto's clones jumping up would have handled all of the Zabuza clones. So 5 entire water clones would be taken out, all the while Zabuza would be forced to let go of Kakashi and actually stop walking on water, sinking into it, which would actually lead him to going underneath the actual surface of the water and then avoiding the fire style. But this would ultimately end up giving Kakashi just enough time to actually get out of the way and make his way to the direction of his two students. Doing so extremely quickly, appearing behind the both of them, he would go on to thank them, as he would ask Naruto where the heck he learned to punch like that, and Sasuke, wondering, yeah, where did you learn how to hit like that, would wait for the answer. But Zabuza, coming out of the lake pissed, holding his blade with veins practically popping out of his head, would turn to Naruto, telling him that he's gonna kill him and that stupid Uchiha brat, as Zabuza would release a monstrous amount of killer intent, actually freezing the both of them, with him aiming his blade at their direction, but all too quickly, 2 Senbon would fly at the neck of Zabuza, as it would be Haku intervening, knowing that if Zabuza was to undergo a 3v1 in this moment, his likelihood of surviving would practically be 0%, if not maybe 3. But Regardless, Haku would end up saving Zabuza in this moment, not allowing Zabuza's rage to be his undoing, as he would appear in front of the group going on to say, "I apologize for intervening in your fight, but I'm a mistracking ninja." He would then go on to tell the group that he's going to be taking Zabuza now, and very quickly, he would disappear with the body. Naruto, looking to Kakashi, would wonder why he didn't perform his duty right then and there, and Kakashi would say, "You noticed too, didn't you?" To which Naruto would say he did. Kakashi would go on to tell them that they're going to be needing to keep their guards up, that this battle isn't over. But as he would say that, Kakashi would start to slightly fall over as he would look at his team, telling them that he had wasted a lot of chakra with his Sharingan. So, covering it back up, he would limp his way towards Tazuna's home, where all of them would have the same experiences that we do in the original. Well, minus the tree walking stuff, because remember, in this timeline, Naruto actually already knows how to do that thanks to Tsunade, and because he already knows how to do that, him and Sakura would both actually teach Sasuke how to do things. So, having the advice of both Naruto and Sakura, and Naruto practically showing Sasuke exactly how to implement the ability, and being better at explaining it just due to the fact that he had such a hard time doing it that it would just be easier for somebody that didn't get the catch of it quickly to explain it to you, Sasuke would go on to learn in like 3 hours, impressing the team due to the fact that that is an incredible amount of time to actually learn this jutsu. Sakura just learned it because she has some insane chakra control for her age, but Sasuke having the insane chakra pool that he also has and learning this ability was awesome. So after this would be all said and done, the team would go on to work on a couple combination attacks, with Sasuke asking Naruto how exactly he pulls off those monstrous punches. Naruto would go on to explain that while he was a kid and he left the village, he had actually went to go train with Lady Tsunade. Sasuke hearing that would say, "What, you trained with one of the legendary Sannin?" And Naruto turns to him and says, "I don't know if I would say trained, more like raised, because when I turned 6 years old, rumors of the Nine Tails started spreading like wildfire, and well, Hiruzen didn't think I was safe, so he sent me off with Tsunade for a couple of years, and here I am now." Sasuke would ask what exactly she taught him. Naruto would say that she tried teaching him a lot of things, but because of his age and the fact that he struggled a lot with chakra control, the main things that he ended up learning from her were basic taijutsu, some human anatomy that he would have learned via studying some books, which Naruto cringes at the thought of, knowing that it definitely helped him a lot because of the fact that now he's a lot smarter, and he would also explain that she taught him how to charge chakra into his fists and release these massive punches. Sasuke hearing this would be impressed, as he would ask Naruto how to do it actually. Naruto turning to Sasuke would say that that is actually something that Tsunade could teach him, because as much as he can do it, it's kind of one of those things where Naruto knows what a word means, but if he tried to explain it, he wouldn't be able to actually give the definition. So he'd be a pretty bad teacher. Though Sasuke would insist to have him teach him something, and Naruto would begin to actually try to teach him the basics. But when Naruto's teachings would be way worse than what Naruto had even led on to believe, Sasuke would be like, "You know what, you're right. Maybe I'll just learn from Tsunade one day." Naruto would say, "Hey, maybe I could put in a good word for you and you can train with her as well." And Sasuke would be like, "Yeah, sure, Naruto." Regardless though, the team would continue their training, doing hand-to-hand training and sparring, with Naruto realizing that when it comes to hand-to-hand combat itself, Naruto at the moment is actually besting Sasuke due to the fact that he still hasn't awakened his Sharingan. So Sasuke, realizing that Naruto's actually the stronger of the two, would have respect but also a hint of jealousy, thinking to himself that if he had the same training access that Naruto had, he'd be so much stronger. But then again, he has to admit that Naruto at the moment just blatantly got the best of him. So after this would happen, we would eventually end up getting a day in which Naruto would spend a significant amount training after hours in the forest, eventually tiring himself out so badly that by the time that he returned back to Tazuna's house and passed out, the day of the Battle of the Bridge would finally come around and Naruto still would have been sleeping, as he would ultimately be woken up by the two shinobi making a huge ruckus, causing Inari and Tsunami to fight back. But when it didn't work and Naruto noticed that they were in the house, Naruto instantly started the battle off by smashing at the ground of their house and then lifting the tiles themselves up, causing them to be off balance, as Naruto would rush in towards their directions with two scalpels, cutting the both of them on their tendons on their calves. This would cause each of them not to be able to stand up properly, as a two fodder shinobi turning to Naruto trying to weave hand signs for something would actually kind of start stumbling, holding on to each other as one of them would draw a blade saying, "Kid, you made a huge mistake." But Naruto would point his finger behind him as from behind Naruto would come another two clones. And so, jumping at the direction of each one of the brothers, they would each hit them right on the head with their monstrous strength, shaking the inside of their brains and causing them to ultimately have blood come pouring out of their nose, ears, and mouth. Naruto doing so would then start doing stretches like the morning stretches, where you're like, you're trying to wake your body up, as he looks at Inari and Tsunade and is just like, guess it was a good thing I overslept. He would then start to crack his knuckles and neck and ask if they have maybe some water he could drink, saying he's really thirsty. Inari would go on to point his finger towards a cup of tea that they have nearby, and Naruto's like, "Oh, perfect." Naruto serves himself up a glass of cold tea, and this dude just proceeds to make his way towards the battlefield, knowing that if these guys were here, then something definitely must have been going on over there. But Naruto would be a bit disappointed, considering that a part of him believes that this battle might even be over by the time he gets there, considering Sasuke's there and Kakashi's there. And Sakura's there for moral support. She's still not exactly becoming the shinobi she should be, but he'll let it slide. Anyways though, when Naruto would arrive to the battlefield, he would be greeted to the side of Sasuke inside of the mirrors. As Naruto seeing this, knowing that his friend shouldn't just be trapped in there having awakened his Sharingan, Naruto would rush at the direction of one of the mirrors, reeling his arm back and shattering it to a million little pieces. Sasuke in this moment, seeing the gap created by Naruto, would say, "Great," as multiple senbons would come flying at Sasuke, who was about to make his big exit, having a hole created for him by Naruto, who in this timeline wouldn't have been like, "Oh, let me rush in the actual trap itself." No, he would have helped Sasuke. But Haku, seeing this and knowing that if he didn't put a stop to this right now, he was going to have to fight a 2v1, would throw multiple senbon at Sasuke, which all hit him and ultimately paralyze him. He would fall down to the ground as Naruto and Sasuke's eyes would lock, and as Naruto would see Sasuke fall to the ground and him kind of breathing his final breaths, Naruto's eyes would turn red. In an instant, Naruto would let out an animalistic roar, blitzing at Haku, who was within one of the mirrors, and ultimately smashing his fist straight through his face. This would shatter Haku's mask, as his nose would be completely broken, having a bunch of blood spurt out of it. But Naruto, rushing towards him once more, never having encountered Haku before, would proceed to stab his arm full of chakra straight through Haku's torso, which would proceed to leave a hole straight through the ninja. Haku, now staring at Naruto, looking deep into his eyes, would just kind of leave out his last breath before then turning and seeing the body of Zabuza being impaled by a Chidori. Knowing that at this moment he couldn't do a thing about it, would attempt to use his Kekkei Genkai to freeze Naruto, but it wouldn't be working at all. Naruto's arm would be looking like it's covered in a bit of frostbite, but the Nine Tails' chakra would be healing it so rapidly that it didn't affect him. And as Haku would draw his last breath, he would apologize to Zabuza, going, "Sorry, master," as he would fall down to the ground, and Naruto would once again let out a massive roar. This would be when suddenly Gateau and his men would arrive, and it'd be in this moment that Naruto, knowing that he's responsible for all these countless deaths, would lunge past the direction of Kakashi and begin mauling these men of Gateau. Throwing a punch at one of them, this would send like 20 men flying off into the actual river, some of them being unconscious as the humans would be ragdolled everywhere. As Naruto, rushing to the direction of Gateau himself, before he could finally land the final blow, Naruto's body would fall unconscious right in the middle of all of them. As the surviving men, staring at the body of Naruto who had fallen unconscious, would aim their blades towards him, but then getting PTSD flashbacks of what he did when he was conscious, would not be able to get any closer or try to harm Naruto. It'd be at this point that Kakashi, using his superior speed, would blitz in between Gateau and Naruto and would go on to ask him politely to come with him. This is when Gateau would make like a really scared face expression as he would say, "Men, attack him." But seeing Kakashi standing there, all of them would kind of realize that if this guy is his student, just how much more scary is this dude? So they would all back off and just decide, nah, it's not worth it. Like, it's not worth my life. As they all pretty much leave Gateau by himself, and the dude proceeds to get what's coming to him by the villagers. After this would take place, the team would finally end up grabbing their things and making their way back to Konoha, as they would all return and report everything that would have happened to Hiruzen, with Sasuke, of course, having woken up thanks to the Senbon not having killed him and nearly doing so but not killed him in this timeline. He'd be out of commission for about a week once they returned back to Konoha, and so by the time that the Chunin exams would finally roll around, Sasuke would be more than ready to participate in them. So with that being said, what would take place after this is we would get the team all being told about the Chunin exams, with a really injured Sasuke who has like a bunch of casts on his body, pretty much saying that he's willing to accept. Kakashi looking to Sasuke and seeing the state of his body would be like, yeah, sure buddy. As the team would all prepare for this, and we would eventually end up getting the scene in the actual anime in which Naruto and Sasuke would both be walking through the Chunin Tower. As they're doing this, this version of Naruto would actually be able to recognize genjutsu, so seeing the low-level genjutsu being used on them, Naruto would scoff thinking, did they really think that would work on us? To which Sakura, who hadn't even noticed it, would be like, what? This was genjutsu? The two would eventually make their way to the actual room when suddenly a boy with bushy brows would throw a kick at Sasuke, having been called the Rookie of the Year in this timeline, as he would challenge him to a fight. Not only that, but also trying to get at his girl right in front of him, to which Sasuke smirking would go on to tell him that he doesn't have the time for small fry like him. Suddenly, he would go on to pretty much try to actually attack him, not caring about what Sasuke said, but who other than Naruto would stand in front of him, not dodging the kick, but actually taking the full force of the kick. He would be sent backwards as he would land on the ground holding his cheek, going on to tell Lee, didn't you hear him the first time? He doesn't want to fight. He would look at Lee with a pissed off expression as Lee would bow down his head, apologizing for kicking him and looking at Sasuke, telling him that sooner or later they're going to fight. As he would end up leaving, and Sasuke, seeing that Naruto had just taken that blow for him, would ask him why in the world he would do something that stupid. But Naruto, looking at Sasuke, would only start smiling goofily as he would say that he'd do it again. Sasuke, hearing that, would just be like, whatever, as he would make his way towards the direction of the examination area, with the team all meeting up with the Rookie 12 and all pretty much being glared at by all of the different shinobi that were there. Eventually, everybody would make their way to the testing proc section, and because I don't feel like covering that, we're going to be skipping straight to the Forest of Death section, which is where the team would all decide on who their team captain is going to be. This is when Sasuke, making a pretty strange move, would actually go on to turn to Naruto, asking him what he thinks they should do. Naruto turning to Sasuke would be like, does that mean I'm the captain? And Sasuke would say, sure, I'll let you have it for today. Naruto, smiling at Sasuke, would end up pretty much saying that their best bet would probably be to go to the center of the exam and hopefully take the scroll from a team that's already pretty much passed, saying that regardless of what person it is, because they're heading there, they should have either an earth or a heaven scroll. So Sasuke, hearing that, would agree, saying that his plan was going to be the same, as Naruto and Sasuke both look at each other, nod, and then Sakura would look at them and be like, sure, yeah, let's do that. Which would ultimately lead us to a situation in which the team rushing to the direction of the center of the actual exam would not be met by anybody at all, until suddenly Naruto's hairs on the back of his head would start to stand up on its end, as Naruto, facing to the direction of a massive chakra signature, would say, wait. All three of them would stop on a tree branch, as suddenly, on the tree right next to them, a woman would be standing there, long hair with a strange straw hat. As they would turn, asking what she wants. Naruto pretty much willing to just give up the scroll instantly, knowing that whoever this is easily on the same level of Lady Tsunade, if not greater, because the chakra that he's sensing is not only massive, but malicious. This is when Naruto, hearing the answer from the shinobi saying she's only here to take the scroll, Naruto would say, then what scroll do you need? We'll give it right now. But she would go on to say, don't make it so easy now, as she would pretty much start to release her bloodlust, and as Sasuke would look at Naruto wondering why he's doing so much, all of a sudden, he would feel it. The massive amount of bloodlust rushing towards their direction would cause Sasuke to freeze in place, turning to Naruto as their eyes would lock with fear in their eyes, and they would all stare attentively at the ninja. He would stare directly at Sasuke, which Naruto, seeing this, knowing that he's maybe after Sasuke, would actually say, "If you're here for my teammate, then we can't do business. But if you take the scroll right now, then neither of us has to get hurt." Orochimaru, hearing that, would say, "That's an enticing offer. However, you're not exactly in a position to be bargaining with me," as he would lunge to the direction of the team, and Naruto would say, "Get down, Sasuke!" Suddenly, Sasuke would do exactly that, and Naruto, rushing at the direction of Orochimaru, would try to attack, though his legs were shaky. This is when Naruto, trying to stab at Orochimaru with one of his scalpels, would miss completely, with Orochimaru holding Naruto's forearm and looking at his face. He would lick at Naruto's cheek as he would go on to say that he's strong, but not strong enough. He would then kick Naruto square in the stomach, sending him crashing to the ground about 20 feet. As Naruto, looking up to the direction of the tree, would get pissed, slamming his fist on his ground, sending out the biggest amount of strength that he could muster, draining like 30% of his chakra in that one punch, would cause the tree to pretty much be uprooted as the entire area would shatter, looking like a practical nuke had just gone off. Orochimaru, witnessing the strength that had just taken place, would think, "Tsunade." He would realize that Naruto must have been trained by her, considering the fact that he was able to use that blow and the colors that he was using. It was no mistake. This boy had clearly been taught a thing or two by Tsunade. So, Orochimaru, knowing that, would rush to Naruto as he would go on to ask just how much Tsunade taught him. It'd be in this moment that he would smile and some of his face would start to melt off, with some of the purple makeup or whatever it is that Orochimaru uses on his face having been shown, and Naruto, seeing the slit-like eyes, would say, You're Orochimaru." But ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are going to be wanting to get a part 3, then comment down below what your favorite part of the video was. Leave a like on the video and turn on post notifications so you guys don't miss out on part 3, which will most likely end up being a 5-part series, 6-part series, but I digress. It has been your boy Xehther, and I am out. Peace.